Good morning from Shalom Acres. Today is an awesome day. We're actually a project this summer we've been waiting for a little bit of the dry season. Unfortunately, it's going to be nice and hot, but we are so excited to start the foundation and digging work today on our root cellar. So we've got a little bit of a hill on the side of our property. It won't cover up the full root cellar, but we think with the amount of dirt we're going to dig out, it's going to allow us to then cover it back up. We'll walk up here and I'll show you what we've got here. So this right here, this white line right there, it's going to be the front left corner. Over here be the front right, and all the way in the back, 20 foot off that pine tree is going to be another one, and then there's the other part. So the total root cellar size is going to be, from outside dimension to outside dimension, is actually going to be 10 feet 8 inches, and it'll be 17 foot 4 inches long. So we're looking forward to having this welcome addition. We've got all this produce that we're harvesting, and besides canning, and refrigeration and freezing, we're really trying to get away from those ideas, understand what we can do as far as what they used to do back in the earlier days of this country and lots of other countries. Looking forward to building this cellar over hopefully the next, I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks, depends on how weather is and what other projects we've got going on here. But in a minute I'll take you in the house and we'll actually go over some of the plan designs, because I did have someone, a structural engineer, draw this up. I could have got it close with what I know, but I would have never got it to the point without the structural engineering truly giving me that actual piece of paper and the understanding of what I need for rebar strength and a few other pieces around how to tie the roof together. So, very smart gentleman. I'll give you his contact information here in a few minutes, so that way you can, if you decide you want to build a root cellar a little bit different than our dimensions, you can go ahead and use him. And the one thing I'll share right up front, we're actually going to show our full root cellar as far as beginning to end, and I'm not going to actually charge anybody for the plans. I'll be more than willing to give a list of what we used, because I think everybody's situation is a little bit different. But I think under most situations, if you're going to be different, I would actually have a structural engineer look at it. It's not going to cost you too much money, but besides, if you're building this like us for long term, for our life, and the expectancy of where we're going to be, I don't want 10 years to go by and for something to happen. I want it to be here for my life and my kids' life, and really look at the long-term viability of what this may mean for our family. Thanks. We'll be back in a minute. So we are back looking at the actual design plans here, and again, the engineering firm that I had that did this was Cornerstone Structural Engineering. They live right here, or they live in Arkansas, pretty close to our home. Phone contact information is on the bottom, and the actual owner of the company, who actually was lucky enough to deal with on this one, is John Reardon. So you can see some of the specifics. I mean, he's given me all the information for reinforced concrete. He's given me specific layouts here for what the corners look like and how it all turns together. Tension splicing for when you actually have to join the rebar, as far as how many inches you have to have it together. And I realize some of this is going to be a little bit blurry, but I just want to give you some ideas of what's all on here. And then also he's given a side view of it, and you'll see in the side view here, we're actually going to end up having 2 compartments in it. So this will be a smaller compartment. When I was doing a lot of research and reading, it actually talks to have a small, basically thermal break between the front of your root cellar and the back of your root cellar, the ones that are the most efficient. So I went ahead and decided to go ahead and come up with a small thermal break. Then he gives you a side view, and then of course a top view. And then that from there, you're actually able to go ahead and take this and turn it into what you need. And just a rough calculation as far as what I've put together, I'm not sure what's going on with the light here, but you can see that I've taken some time to calculate out how much and how many pieces of the different size rebar. I could have done this with just you know, like straight number 4 rebar, which is 1/2 inch, or number 3 rebar, which is 3/8. But in this particular case, I had some rebar here that I've been purchasing on Craigslist and other stuff over the last 1.5 years, and then also the same way with the blocks. So this project for us is we've been planning now for almost 2 years, and we are so excited to see it now, have it all on paper. And now we're today we'll get the hole dug, and we'll show you some video footage of that. And what we're doing is we're actually digging the hole about 2 foot wider on each side to give me a little bit of workspace, because when I'm done laying the block, we're actually going to put a rubberized coating on it, so that way it will be you know, impervious to water and impenetrable to water. And we're just, like I said, so excited. So we'll take you through each one of these steps. Today's just a little intro for what's to come, but it'll probably take us 3 or 4 videos at least to get through this whole thing, between laying the floor with the foundation, tying in the rebar out of the floor, you know, then after that putting up the blocks, and then coming in with the foundational drains, and then the unique way how we're going to tie in the walls to the actual roof structure. So anyway, more to come, and look forward to taking you with us. Thanks again for watching, and thanks for subscribing. Shalom. So this right here is the unit that's going to be digging the hole. We thought about digging it ourselves and said, you know what, we're going to save our time and energy in actually laying the block and doing all the concrete work. So we're going to get the hole dug by a professional. And this is the unit that's going to do it. We'll be back in a second showing you the first scoop. So before we get to the hole, I'd like you to look at this mound of dirt we have. Man, what a massive mound. I'm not sure if we're going to need it all, but decided to go ahead and keep it all here because we are going to put dirt back on top. We have planned for having 2 feet of dirt over the whole top of it. But boy, we've got quite a bit of dirt here. It's definitely going to change the landscape of our side yard. So now we'll go ahead and go look at the hole, but just wanted to show, whenever you are doing projects like this, the scale of what you're dealing with may not always be what's in your mind. So this one is probably one of those areas where I knew it was going to be a lot of dirt, but until I saw it all piled up, it's definitely more than what I was thinking in my mind. So just whenever you're doing projects, just encourage you to, I guess, think it all the way through. But as you can see, it is quite a pile. I mean, it's over 9 foot tall in one area. So anyway, We'll go get to the hole now. Okay, now you've seen the video of the hole being dug, and now what we actually have is the hole is dug. So the final piece that I'm standing in is actually one of the footer areas. So this footer is about between 5 and 6 inches thick. A drawing, according to what the structural engineer said, is only 5 inches. But based on the fact that we were digging with that little mini track hoe, we're probably between 5 and 6 inches. So we're definitely 5, but we're probably closer to 6 in most areas. Chose to go a little bit deeper. Then what you'll see down here is what these little white poles are. These little white poles are to make sure nobody falls on the rebar. That rebar is actually to grade. So that's the height of which the slab is. So when he had this nice little electronic laser level here, we went ahead and drove all of the pins in for the corners, not only where the walls are going to meet, but also the height of the actual floor. And then we drove one into the center, right here, so then that way, just make it easier for leveling it up when it's all said and done. And again, the reason why the pipes are over the top is, I know my kids are going to play in here, and I just don't want to take a chance of anybody getting hurt. I'd much rather them run into a piece of PVC than have one of those pieces of rebar cut into their skin. So always think about safety whenever you're doing any project. Definitely appreciate you watching. Next week we'll be probably putting in the plumbing and going ahead and getting all the rebar and the forms set up, and we should get that out hopefully by the following week. Thanks for watching. Shalom.